I can't hold it. I need to use the bathroom. The flight attendant in the interview slumps in her chair. Her face is twisted in pure agony. I've secretly fitted the chair with a vibrator, so the moment I press the switch, it jerks and rattles unpredictably. As I watch their faces turn red and their bodies tremble uncontrollably, a sense of supreme satisfaction washes over me. To my astonishment, one of the flight attendants hitches up her uniform skirt and insists I attend to her needs on the spot. My name was Gerald Clinton, and I was an executive at a private airline. Our airline was unusual. We catered exclusively to the ultra-wealthy, and these clients were notoriously difficult to please. Comfort was only the baseline. They expected special services and attention beyond what most people could imagine. For this reason, I recruited some young and beautiful flight attendants. Appearances mattered, but above all, they needed to captivate and impress. For optimized candidate selection, I discreetly fitted the interview chair with a concealed vibrator. Although identical in appearance to a standard seat, it produced precise rhythmic motions when the switch was activated. This was designed to function as a stress tolerance test. Only candidates who withstood the experience would proceed in the selection process. The interviews began. After several grueling rounds, only 3 candidates remained. All of them were stunning, and each had the kind of presence that turned heads the moment they walked in. However, success was ultimately contingent upon one's ability to withstand the vibrator's relentless motion. The interview began, following the usual procedure. However, the formalities hardly mattered. What mattered most was how she carried herself when the spotlight was on her. My name is Claire Leroy, and I am 22. I'm from... She introduced herself. As she spoke, she tossed her hair and thrust out her chest, flaunting her generous curves in a blatant attempt to seduce me. I smiled faintly. Claire was certainly flirty, and she seemed suitable. The question was whether she could pass my test. While she was distracted, I quietly pressed the switch in my hand. The vibrator jerked into motion. Claire sensed the unusual sensation beneath her and froze instantly. She went silent and stared at me with widened eyes. I pretended to stay calm and said, "Keep going. The interview isn't over." A faint smile tugged at Claire's lips. She rested her hands on the chair and adjusted her position, subtly parting her legs. She seemed to be enjoying it quite a bit. Occasional moans slipped from her lips as she said, "I have a big vision for the company." She didn't show the slightest hint of shyness. If anything, she became more and more animated. Her entire body rose and fell with the vibrations of the chair. I realized that Claire was really something, and she was actually enjoying this. The frequency still seemed too low, so I decided to turn it up. I pressed the button and raised the frequency of the motion. The intensified rhythm shook Claire so violently that she started trembling uncontrollably. Her chest jiggled so violently it seemed ready to leap from her torso. She gripped the chair tightly, refusing to let herself be thrown off by the vibrations. Meanwhile, her hips shifted in sync with the vibrator's rhythm. Her cheeks flushed, and she tilted her head back, parting her lips slightly. Lost in unrestrained moans, she seemed to have forgotten that the interview was still underway. The sounds she was making stirred my blood. It had been ages since I'd heard such captivating cries, especially from a freshly graduated young woman with such beautiful curves. Claire moaned and cried out, "Mr. Clinton, what's this beneath me? It feels so good." I suppressed the desire rising in my lower abdomen and coldly said, "We might encounter turbulence at any time on the plane. I'm testing your ability to handle pressure." I added, "The interview isn't over yet. Please continue." It was only then that Claire remembered she was still in the middle of the interview. She tried to sit upright and maintain her composure, but the sudden erratic motion made it impossible for her to speak clearly, let alone continue. Therefore, she came up with a solution that left me completely stunned. She lifted her skirt and took off her panties right in front of me, leaving nothing to the imagination. Click the link in my bio to get the full story for free.